It's so nice to be invited to AIM event, and given how strange everything has been in the past couple of years, I'm really chuffed that this kind of pre-conference event is going ahead. AIM always do an amazing pre-conference event, so it's ace to be able to be part of it. Today, I want to talk about something that's a bit topical just now. We've obviously all seen the news about Afghanistan. We've seen the situation that's been happening in Kabul. We've heard about the stories, the real life stories of what people have been experiencing in Afghanistan. Now, the UK actually, in this circumstance, has done some good in terms of providing space for refugees, ensuring that there is going to be a resettlement programme in place, that people are going to be able to come here. But the UK's what it does in relation to refugees, the actions that it does, the way that it behaves, is so patchy. I mean, we've had a situation where, yeah, absolutely, the UK was stepped up and took on some Syrian refugees, for example, but there are other places across the globe where people are really genuinely suffering, and where they come here to claim asylum, to claim refuge. And the UK government does everything it possibly can to make their lives as difficult as possible. So in the case of the Afghan refugees, as was in the case of the Syrian refugees, there's an actual resettlement program. People will be provided with support, people will be assisted, they will be given support from the local council. Basically, they'll have somewhere to stay, they'll have things in place in order to support them. But the majority of the refugees that come here are not coming as part of a resettlement program. They're coming from places that maybe aren't countries that we would think are really terrible places, or maybe not countries that hit the news all of the time. But I remember a few years ago there was a guy came and was trying to claim refuge from the Democratic Republic of Congo, and he came from Congo and he literally had whip marks across his back where he'd been beaten, and the UK government did not believe that he would be in danger if he was returned to Congo. Now, the fact that they're able to take those decisions, the fact that they take those decisions every single day to deport people to countries where they are going to be killed, is genuinely shocking. There is a system in place where people can claim refuge, but it is a really difficult process. And during the course of that process, the people who live in here are literally destitute. So you have to go through a process where you have absolutely nothing, where you've come from a country where you're already being persecuted, and you come here and you get further persecuted by the Home Office in order to prove that things are so bad in your country that you should be able to stay in the UK. And it's part of this whole, do you know what, the UK is bigger and better than everybody else. We're an amazing country. Of course, everybody wants to come and live here. And that's, that whole kind of British exceptionalism that folk have. And, they've got this idea, the Home Office has got this idea, or the UK government has got this idea that Britain is so amazing that all of these people are lying. They're not telling the truth when they're trying to come here. So they're trying to make things as hard as possible. And one of the things that they do for people who are coming here, whether they're in kind of refugee status, or whether they're coming here and they haven't got to the kind of refugee part of the process, is they do a thing called no recourse to public funds. Now, what no recourse to public funds mean is literally people are not able to claim public funds. So you have a situation where folk are here. Folk might have children, they might have dependents, they might be in an abusive relationship, but because they've got no recourse to public funds, the council can't give them housing benefit. So they cannot get somewhere safe to stay because of this no recourse to public funds status that they have. And Home Office doesn't even keep numbers of how many folk have got no recourse to public funds. But one of the good things that's happened recently is that the Scottish Government, with the deal with the Greens, has written into that they're moving towards ending destitution. So that's specifically around people who've got no recourse to public funds. It's specifically around making sure that the folk have got that access to things that they need. They've got that access because they're not allowed to work. in many cases. So they're not allowed to work. They've got no recourse to public funds. They've literally got no way to get money to feed their families. But the deal between the SNP and the Greens has formalised, and we'd already had the end of destitution strategy. But this has formalised that the Scottish Government is going to step up, is going to do what it can to ensure, within the powers that we have, obviously, to ensure that folk have got an ability to live here without being in destitution. And after independence, that's the kind of country I want us to be. I want us to be that country that will step up, that will help people, that will take our place in the world and won't say to folk, oh yeah, you only want to come here because we're so wonderful. We know Scotland's a nice country. We know that's the case. But actually folk are coming here not because Scotland is wonderful, which it is, but because they are trying to get away from, unimaginable horrors. And I want to be in a country that will welcome those folk. I want to be in a country that will celebrate them and that will ensure that they are supported once they do get here.